Well, I'll start by asking you, how do you approach roles based on literary characters? Do you, do you use it as a nice springboard, or do you get kind of frustrated with that having that much kind of reference point?
With fear and trepidation will always be how I approach any literary or historical figure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tend to, operate mainly out of instinct. That's kind of what I know about myself as an actor. And so it's great to have, a kind of a Bible of a book, but at the same time it's best to be aware that your instincts might take you in a different direction, and that's what happened with this in some way. And so I wanted to remain true to how I felt about the character, even though on the page it's probably, or in the book it's probably quite different to what it is in the film. But then again, a film is a standalone piece, and that's how it should be.
I get quite excited. I guess I did Mirror Mirror before this, so I kind of got the biggest trepidation out of the way, playing someone that everyone's known for a much longer period of time. But I get quite excited to have the source material, but also to step away, like you said, and kind of it as a standalone piece. I was nervous as well, but I was also a fan of the book, so I already had a precedent in my head of who she should be, so I understand that perspective. But nerves, yeah, but more excited because it's a huge honor, because I love Clary,
I was wondering, have any of you read the Mortal Instruments books to the end, or do you quite like the idea of leaving your character's fate as a surprise?
Read them all.
Except for the one that's not out.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about that.
I'm not quite at the end, but I've read on. I've spoiled it for myself a wee bit. I know how supernatural and sleek and sexy I get in the next one. Ladies.
And Jamie, because you've been in the Harry Potter, the Twilight franchise, and now, of course, the Mortal Instruments, I was wondering, what is it that the Mortal Instruments brings to the kind of fantasy sort of film franchise world that the others haven't got?
I suppose we're not trying to sort of recreate any iconic image of any sort of supernatural being. We're not, our movie and the book series isn't, set in a world of vampires and werewolves and sort of demonic beings, in the sense that that's who the main characters are. Our main characters are above anything, ultimately human. And I think that's what sort of sets it apart. In the same way that Twilight was no way at all similar to Harry Potter, this is not at all similar to Twilight or Harry Potter. They're always going to be, put together in the same pen because they're YA books, and they're fantasy. But, there's always been a fascination with the fantasy. There's always been a fascination with the unknown,
And Lily, I was wondering, what's it like? Obviously, you're playing a very strong female lead, which seems to be something that seems to, there's more of these days in cinema. It must be quite encouraging to yourself as a young actress to know that roles like this are out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what separates Clary, I think, from other, female heroines, maybe in certain other stories, is that she is very normal, but at the same time, she already is something supernatural. It's not like she's choosing to be a part of some supernatural herd or being or whatever. Herd. I couldn't think of the word. She wants to be a flying cow. She is very normal and vulnerable and all the things that every young girl is growing up, but at the same time kicks ass. So I think to know that there are roles out there that have both and make it very human in a either fantasy or kind of naturalistic world, that's what a real kind of heroine is to me. The people that I look up to have this otherworldly quality about them, but they're also very relatable.
And I was wondering, because you all wear a great array of costumes in this film, I was wondering if you were allowed to keep any of them, and if not, if there's any costumes in any of your previous films that you had desperately wanted to hold on to.
They've cut my costume up, and it's part. You can get them in cards now.
Yeah, they did the same with mine. Yeah, there are these collector's cards that you can get Mortal Instruments, and there's like the Jace card, the Clary card, and
which
the
means
the
that we'll all be completely nude
naked
for the next movie.
Yeah, completely
because we have no budget for any more costumes.
No, they all went into the cards.
That said, I had this really cool pair of high top Nikes that I wore, and I kept those.
You did?
Yeah, I kept my Doc Martens.
They're very cool. Very
you
cool.
got your mirror dress.
I do actually have my mirror swan outfit, which sat in my apartment freakily for months. I'd open the door and think there was someone in there, and it's all just just me. That now lives at my mom's house, even more creepily.
I did a TV show when I was 16 called Foreign Exchange, right, for Irish television, and we were students in this school, and I kept the school jumper, I kept the school sweater with the emblem on it, and I don't know why I remember that, but it's
He wears it on occasion.
I keep a lot of costumes.
I like keeping costumes.
Yeah.
I've got the ring. I've got the Morgenstern ring.
oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And I was just wondering as well, because the second one, how's it coming along? Have you started filming yet, and how are things?
Next month.
Yeah, we're sort of just like waiting for it to go. Really, you know, people keep asking us what we want in the movie, but we're just waiting for sort of script to be locked and to get out there.
Yeah.
A great opportunity for those actors to be able to kind of revisit and sort of develop sort of characters that you know so well.
And it's brilliant because, especially in the sequel of this, our characters take huge turns and twists and turns, and like for example, my guy, it was very much the normal eyes as well as Clary, Lily's character, who of course becomes badass and supernatural, or part angel in the first one. But my guy in the second one, he starts to join the other world in very different ways. So I'm taking this huge mad turn in the next one. So it's brilliant because you get to revisit a character, but you get to kind of create basically huge new aspects of a character and add it into that at the same time,
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure.